Welcome to the Game of Nerds podcast, where there is no shame in having an unhealthy obsession about a fandom. I'm your host, Shannon, along with my trusty sidekick, Tyler.
That's me.
Today's podcast is our Halloween edition!
I'm excited.
Yay!
Candy, ghouls and ghosts.
Lots of blood.
Alcohol.
Oh, yeah. So today we're going to talk about a lot of different things that have to do with Halloween. But to start it off, we're going to talk a little bit more about Halloween and talk about our favorite horror movies, slashers, and costume ideas and whatnot. So first, Tyler, what's some of your favorite horror movies and slashers?
Well, obviously, my favorite movie that has to do with horror slasher would be Friday the 13th, preferably the first three. The first one had such a twist to it when you find out that it's not this little kid. It's this crazy mom, gets her head chopped off, and then all of a sudden her son comes back in the second, third one for, for whatever reason, which we all know is premarital sex. And the third one to me is probably my ultimate favorite because that's the first time you see him wear the hockey mask.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I like the classics along with you. I'm a very big fan of Jason, the Freddy Krueger, that kind of thing.
If you remember in high school, when you and I first met, it was because of we were talking about Freddy vs. Jason.
Yes, Freddy vs. Jason
sophomore year.
It just came out. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, I like those vintage ones. The only thing that scared me as a child was Chucky. I hated the Chucky trilogies.
I just watched the new Chucky movie. The Curse of Chucky.
Yeah, no, it's scary. I don't like Chucky. Chucky, not for me. And then the Saw trilogy, I could not handle at all. Like the mental mind fuck that was going on in there, I could not deal with it.
I don't like the whole you have to suffer torture. I've never been really into those.
The first one, I was like, oh my goodness, what kind of movie is this? The second one, I was like, oh no, can't handle this. Third one, wasn't going to go see it. And from that point on, I've given up all hope on that series.
The first Saw movie, I'm like, why is Wesley from Princess Bride being tortured?
Yeah, true.
I always thought that was pretty funny.
No, I'm not, I don't get to see many horror movies or slasher movies or anything like that. So I think the last horror movie I saw in theaters was Paranormal Activity, and that movie was just a freaking joke.
You know what? Honestly, it had some random parts here and there that were nice.
It wasn't,
kind of scary.
It wasn't scary, like, oh my goodness, scary. It was that boo scary that you don't like, that just freaks you out.
The one part that freaked me out too when it came out of nowhere is at the end of the movie when he flies back into the camera.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, that movie scared me, so I wasn't into that much movie. But
yeah, I mean, I love horror movies. I got a Hellraiser tattoo. I got a Friday the 13th tattoo. Hellraiser is very I got it tattooed on me because he terrified me as a kid.
Oh.
Pinhead, just seeing those nails in his head, and it freaked me out as a kid. So when I got it and I finally understood that movie is definitely not about just some random monster. That movie's about bondage, the most fucked up shit you can ever think of in an hour and a half movie. The movie's actually not that great, but
it's a
cult classic. It didn't work too well in the theaters. Not a lot of people went. It was like Chucky. Those are all cult.
They're cult
movies.
Classics, yeah. No, I definitely like the cult classics. The newer ones, they're just a little over the edge for me. Next, we want to talk about Halloween costume ideas because there are so many costume ideas out there right now, and especially in the nerd world that we live in.
We're just littered with ideas.
I see so many ideas that I am at a point where I can't keep up in my mind between all these different things. Last year, I was a TARDIS. It was an awesome Halloween. I really liked my costume. But this year I'm juggling a few ideas, but I've been looking on a lot of websites.
What's your ideas?
I don't know, because we normally go with the Kids I Nanny for Halloween, because, we don't have any trick-or-treaters up at my house, so we go with the Kids I Nanny. So it's usually, I have to kind of keep it G-rated.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is...
scare little children, yeah. So no zombies or anything like this, but we're the kids are getting a little bit older, so maybe we're thinking zombies. We have this inside joke about what the plural of moose is. Do you know what the plural of moose is?
No.
Oh yeah, neither did my little kids, and they made up words. So I may go as the plural of moose.
Weren't you
Who knows?
Weren't you thinking about did you find a TARDIS dress or something?
I did. Oh, there are so many different places where you can pick up costumes right now. Not just your typical Halloween Express or the Halloween boutique.
Those are all a thing of the past. if you want the perfect costume, you're going to want to order it online. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what we're about to go over.
Oh, yeah. You have to order online, or you have to get really, really creative and start creating your pieces months in advance. Just like when people prepare for Comic-Con. I mean, these things are done months in advance to prepare.
Luckily, I had a lot of help from you
Oh, yes.
to get my costume this year, which we'll go over in a little bit.
Yeah.
But why don't you go ahead and start? What places can people acquire some pretty nerdy and great costumes?
At first, the easiest place where you can get stuff is Hot Topic. Hot Topic has a great line for both men and women for their costume ideas. And everything in pop culture that you can think of, they have. And
Weren't you just there, was it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday I had to walk out of Hot Topic because I was so overwhelmed with all the... I mean, they had new TARDIS dresses, Dialect dresses. They had the new headpieces for the TARDIS and the Dialects. They had
So cool.
Adventure Time. Hunger Games stuff was just coming out. They had superhero costumes. And, you know, a lot
I've never really understood Adventure Time.
It's a fun little cartoon.
That's what I hear.
But the real big thing about Hot Topic is if you really want to go in a lazy costume where you just have the t-shirt, that's the place to go.
Well, wasn't yours, like, your TARDIS one was, like, super simple last year, but it
was
cool.
It was just a one-piece dress, and it just had the TARDIS the TARDIS print on the front. It was awesome. It's perfect. So, another place where you can get stuff is ThinkGeek.com.
Oh, boy.
That place pretty much owns me and Tyler's soul at this rate.
Yes.
They have a lot of not just clothing options and costume ideas. They have just a lot of nerdy stuff in general. Anything you could possibly want from a fandom, it's there probably. It's just an amazing website, and I have banned myself from this website because I've spent so much money on this website.
It's getting you to the point where that website where I become depressed when I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Because I go over there. I'm like, oh, what cool Doctor Who shit do they have there? Because it has two of my two favorite things of all time are Star Wars and Doctor Who, and they have loads and loads of things there. I mean, for example, they have those sweatshirts that you can zip up and it goes over your face. You can be a stormtrooper. You can be Darth Vader. You can pretty much be anything, and they have really high quality premium like costumes. Like, for example, the 10th Doctor trench coat.
Yeah,
is like $350.
They just released the women's version of that same trench coat, so
I
that
think
women
I
can
saw
now
that
buy.
online now.
Yeah, no, it's just depressing when I get a Think Geek, email in my inbox, because then it's like, oh, I really want to check it out. Oh, but I really don't have money for this. So.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Another great place to go that I will talk about later is heruniverse.com. It's a great place for females to get costume ideas. I'll
definitely be ordering stuff online.
Yes, we all know Tyler will be there. She just has great apparel for women, and it usually fits tends to fit more along our size line, not too wide and whatnot. So, Tyler, what are you going to be for Halloween this year?
I am going to be the 11th Doctor.
Yay! You're going to look so cute as a ginger doctor.
Exactly. Still not ginger.
He's still not ginger, but you're going to be 11th Doctor. I like it. Like I said, I'm still juggling a few ideas. We'll see. Well, maybe by next podcast, maybe I'll finally know what I am. But I will definitely post on our website our Halloween costumes.
I think we should do a photo shoot of us.
Oh, yeah. We'll definitely get on that.
For sure. But what I did was I bought the fez and I bought the bow tie off of ThinkGeek.com.
Yeah.
And then I went to Nordstrom's to get the it's like that pinkish
like a pink shirt. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was a pink shirt, and then I got the suspenders. You can get the suspenders for pretty much anywhere. As far as the pants, I got some like slim fit because he kind of has a little bit of like a skinny jean kind of hipster thing kind of going on with the 11th Doctor. So I got some of those, and you roll up just roll them up, and then you just get pretty much any kind of like boot, I guess.
Yeah, anything to really go with it. I recommend checking out all your Goodwill, your thrift stores, your dollar stores.
That's where
thrift shops.
You can get so many cool ideas by just going to thrift shops and stuff like that. Pulling a Macklemore.
Yeah, pulling a Macklemore. Go look online. Look at different ideas. You can create a costume and not freeze to death.
Honestly, it's to the point where, you don't have to, if you don't have a lot of money this Halloween season, all you got to do is you can get like a nice costume for $20.
Yeah. Do it easy. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I think my biggest pet peeve about Halloween is watching all these women who are in tiny, tiny, tiny short skirts and barely nothing.
We
and
all
they're
know
sitting,
what Halloween's for.
and they're sitting there and they're like shaking and they're freezing. Well, it's October. It's supposed to be cold. Did you not think about this before you went outside? Like, I always have to mentally prepare myself. Like, no, not gonna happen. So that's my one big thing.
You had the TARDIS with the dress. I mean, was it cold?
No, what I ended up doing is putting leggings underneath it, and I wore my UGG boots underneath it, and I put on this giant like a long pea coat. I had it, and I walked around. I was so warm. I maybe only 5 people saw my costume. I didn't care. It was just.
Do you remember what I was last year for Halloween?
What were you last year?
I was a disgruntled Verizon employee.
That's right. You were disgruntled.
So, I don't remember exactly why I chose to do that, but basically what I did was I wore exactly what I would wear at work with my name tag, but I put blood and like black all over my face, and it made it look like, they cut my hours at work, so I killed everybody in the store.
I like it.
That was my I don't have any money for Halloween. So once again, that's a prime example.
You can do anything.
Being creative. Like, we had a Halloween party. I'm not going to go, with nothing on. So I made it, and it cost me literally like $5.
Yeah, there you go. You can't beat it. So now we are going to talk about fun places to go now this October. And if you're living here in California in the Bay Area, there are some fun things to do for Halloween. So Tyler's going to talk about our first place.
So I came across this website. Actually, one of my friend David posted on Facebook about this. It's called Shoot Zombies. The website is shootzombiesnow.com. Basically what the premise is you get on this kind of tram. It's like a trailer. And you have paintball guns. And there's people dressed as legit, like, Hollywood-type zombies. And I thought it was, not going to be, like, as cool as it really was. But no, they're really dressed legitly. And they have actual professional makeup artists, doing this. And we actually ended up calling the place. And this is basically the information I gathered. So it's open on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday from 7 p.m. to midnight. Open October 30th, the 31st, November 1st, November 2nd.
Those are extra days that they're open that isn't a Monday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, sorry.
Exactly. It's going through all this month, and basically how it works is it's kind of like The Walking Dead. You have 10, 15 minutes to shoot the zombies in a hunt. So it's like a shotgun, and you basically are on the hunt where they can attack you. I mean, they won't physically attack you, but
they're gonna try.
They'll get pretty close. But the main thing that I really like is the zombie trailer ride. And basically how it works is you get on this trailer, and there's about 6 paintball guns on each side, and they literally take you around the entire park area. And zombies come out of the bushes. They're coming out, trying to jump on the top. And you're encouraged to shoot these zombies in the head. And I think that's super cool. And like I said, it lasts for 20 minutes. And you just shoot as many zombies as you can. You get 75 paintballs. And the cool thing is I realized that you can actually go online and get $5 off your ticket if you order online.
Actually, online, I just saw today, if you go on Groupon right now, they have a deal where you can do either the zombie hunt or the zombie trailer ride, because it's 2 different things at the Santa Clara Fairgrounds at Santa Clara Paintball. It actually includes the zombie trailer or the zombie ride for 2 people, and then you get a free full day of paintball and equipment also included.
Ooh.
So check out Groupon, because that's a great place to check out.
And the cool thing is, so you pay the admission, which is, either the $25 or the $30. But the cool thing is, for an extra $10 each one, you get a game. So,
oh, yeah.
So, you could... I'm
spend all day.
I'm planning on spending a good, $100. Why not? And I think what we're planning on doing is I think we're going to film, Shannon and I are going to film a vlog, maybe possibly go check it out.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely that's going to happen.
And I'm really excited about that. It's such a good idea. I don't know.
It's a fun little Halloween idea. It's not like a little kid idea. It's like the grown-ups actually want to do this. Like, yeah,
I'm sure they'll take some kids and they'll end up terrified and
I'm sure
have nightmares. But that's the one thing that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, the other place that is awesome here in the Bay during Halloween is at Great America. It's called the Halloween Hunt. It's Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 7 p.m. to midnight. The last weekend for this is the 25th, 26th, and 27th. Ticket info can be found at www.cagreatamerica.com. And basically, they have rides, food, haunted mazes, pretty much anything and everything.
I've never done it. I've always wanted to do it.
I did it last year, and it was fun. But it's definitely not recommended for little kids. Like, you definitely have, if you're over 13, it's probably better to go. But it's a great experience. Great experience.
So basically, we have the question of the podcast. And what that question is today is, what's your favorite part of Halloween? Shannon, what's your favorite part of Halloween?
My favorite part of Halloween is the candy. I'm not going to lie. I have the biggest sweet tooth. I can eat candy all day. It doesn't matter. But I have, my newest addiction is hot tamales. Like, I can literally devour an entire jumbo bag of hot tamales in one sitting. I'm a Mike and Ike
guy. I like Mike and Ike's a lot, but hot tamales are good too. Like, if you're just sitting there bored and you're watching TV, I mean,
hot tamales is the best thing ever. You can't go wrong with hot tamales. So, what's your favorite part of Halloween, Tyler?
For me, Halloween has always been about just the fact that I can just dress up and be a nerd and it's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
I can be whatever I want. When we were in high school, like, how many times was I Jason from Friday the 13th?
I think every year.
Every year. I mean, her and I have been best friends for like 11 years, so it's like every year it was the same. And so I finally moved out of that. Like, I was a human breathalyzer one year.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was I switched it up a little bit, but mostly Jason Voorhees has always been
Is your go-to costume.
because I spent so much money on the mask when we were like in sophomore year that whenever I just like didn't have money to be something else,
it was easier to do that.
That's what I was. So between that and when we got older, turned 21, going to those parties are super cool too, and I always enjoy going to the parties and just hanging out with friends, drinking the slime or whatever.
Whatever's on tap.
But yeah, to me, like, Halloween has always been just
lots of fun.
Yeah, it's just lots of fun, and just because you're not a little kid anymore doesn't mean you can't have fun.
Exactly, true.
Just be safe.
Yeah, just be safe. Everyone be safe. If you're going to be out drinking, make sure you call a cab. It's not worth a DUI.
None of those little bastards lighting shit on fire.
Yeah, no lighting anything on fire either. So, our question, what's your favorite part of Halloween? Let us know on our Twitter at TGON Podcast or on our Tumblr at thegameofnerds.tumblr.com.
So what do we got next? We got Word on the Street.
Oh, the Word on the Street. So I know you're all having withdrawals from Breaking Bad. It's over.
Well, Heil Hitler, bitch.
If you haven't watched it, turn off the podcast now because I'm about to ruin it all for you. But if you have watched it, then you can, join in us in our mutual sorrow of,
Mm-hmm.
Walt took out Uncle Jack and his gang. He saves Jesse, dies of a gunshot wound, and dies in the lab before the police raid the place.
The irony about that is the cancer didn't kill him.
No, it didn't. But you know what? I was watching Vince, the creator,
It's Gilligan.
Gilligan, yeah. On, he was on the Colbert Report with, he was on.
Really?
Yeah, he was on the Colbert Report. My dad is a diehard Stephen Colbert Report
Is he
fan.
like the other one, Jon Stewart?
Oh, yeah. So he was on Colbert, and he was saying he kind of took the ending from a John Wayne movie about how, in this John Wayne movie, he pushes everybody away and tells everyone no, 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 and then at the end, comes rushing in to save everybody. And so, my brother said something really, really cool about this when I asked him, did it end the way you wanted it to? And he just looks at me and says, does a TV show ever end exactly how you want it to? And it's true. Like, all the shows that have ended for me, they never really exactly ended. I mean, they fulfilled most of the time, but they never really ended exactly the way I wanted. But I think this, for the way Breaking Bad ended, it was a great way. What do you think, Ty?
I agree. It's the only thing that I will say is, there's certain things that should have been, loose ends that should have been tied up. Like, I had a problem with the fact that, with Walt Jr. and Holly, the daughter, it didn't really explain what they were going to do next. But I guess that, for me personally, I guess that's just...
You wanted the loose ends tied up.
Yeah, and the thing is, with Jesse leaving like he did, I feel like they could easily put that into something else, or something like, because I know they have some graphic novels that they're doing and stuff like that. So it sets it up to, to do that, to, maybe push the storyline a little farther without Walt being involved. and maybe seeing some graphic novels or some fan-made stories. I mean, for prime example, when Star Wars ended with Return of the Jedi, so many novels were made about the past, what happens after, and that's always good to have, because even though it's not, licensed, story, these people are so creative that they can keep the storyline going as long as they want it to.
See, and my feelings is like, I'm glad. It's like, okay, it's done. Like, okay, Walt, he's gone. Like, we're done. We're over. Like, I think if I learned any more, I'd become more and more disappointed with the way things ended. So I'm glad we ended it the way it is. Tyler's got some awesome David Tennant rumors that we're going to talk about. So what rumors do you have?
Well,
what's the word on the street, Ty?
Well, we got one that's confirmed.
Oh, brilliant.
David Tennant will be in the American version of Broadchurch that will be on the 2014-2015 schedule of Fox.
Yay. This is so awesome. If you have not checked out David Tennant's performance in the British BBC version of Broadchurch, then you are missing out. Go find it. I don't care how you find it.
I just literally finished it this week, and I watched the entire first season in one day.
It took you only one day?
Yeah, there's only 8.
Oh, okay.
There's only 8 episodes.
I've seen parts. I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes like out of order, and the 2 episodes I did watch, they were bombs. So
well, see, this is the thing. Each season is a story. So
yeah.
It's not one of those shows that, each episode's a different story. This is going to be a full, whodunit murder mystery.
Oh, yeah. Either way, I'm excited for David Tennant to be on American TV. And what's your other... This is a rumor, but what's the rumor?
So he's potentially signed to play the raccoon character in Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, not possible.
It's possible.
Karen Gilligan and David Tennant on the same screen.
Okay, so it's ironic, because think about it this way. Karen Gillan and David Tennant in the movie. In Broadchurch, it's David Tennant and Arthur Darvill.
Yep.
Arthur Darvill, as much as I love David Tennant, Arthur Darvill is the MVP of Broadchurch.
Oh, yeah.
The way that guy, plays a priest in the show.
Which is totally different from any of the other characters he's played.
Exactly, and he plays just a phenomenal character in that. And moving on to 11th Doctor.
Yes, Matt Smith has just made the news by being casted as Patrick Bateman in the London stage adaptation of American Psycho, and it will be showing from December 3rd through January 25th. Doctor Who Tumblr confirmed this, but it's a very awkward choice. I mean, I see it. I don't know how it's going to turn out.
Matt Smith's always so goofy, and
he's
so lovable.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
See him play like a character. Christian Bale was spot on for the American Psycho.
Yeah.
Movie, but I think Matt Smith is gonna shock us. I think it's gonna be, we're gonna see that look of evil.
We're gonna see a whole different side of him. I think that's what's gonna happen. But it should be a very interesting choice to see, or I think it's a very interesting choice. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out, because, like you said, he is such a goofy little goober that I don't see him in that very serious, critical role. So it may be a whole new side of him.
But then again, I think that new movie that he's doing, it was
Ryan Gosling.
I think that's a very serious role from what I've gathered
from it, yeah.
And so we might be seeing the beginning stages of Matt Smith turning into a very serious actor,
which would be exciting. I wouldn't mind seeing him in other things. I think, but in my mind, because I've only I know him from Doctor Who, that I will always see him as the 11th Doctor.
I saw him in a movie called Womb. It's a very strange movie, and he played a very depressing character. It wasn't so much of a serious, but he's playing, being Patrick Bateman, he's playing evil, corrupt, stock guy, and who's a, mass serial killer. So, and it being a, stage adaptation, we're going to probably see some, singing and stuff like that. We're going to see, I don't know if it'll be a musical, but, I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see what he's doing.
So that's all we've got for the word on the street. If you've got any rumors or new news, you can always hit us up on our Tumblr or on our Twitter.
What you think.
Yeah, let us know what interests you. Our next segment, one of our favorite, is Nerdgasm. What have we been nerding out about this week? Tyler, what have you been nerding about this week?
Going back to Broadchurch, I've been nerding out on BBC.
BBC is the greatest channel on earth.
BBC, I've been nerding out on. I mean, for me, weekly, I'm always watching Doctor Who. So I mean, that really doesn't
change.
count.
Yeah.
I've been rewatching Sherlock because I just decided that to give it another try. It's not that I didn't like it; it's just I didn't really understand it. But by me rewatching it, I'm remembering these lines that he says. Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the most phenomenal actors I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's amazing as Sherlock. It's ridiculous, but you're right. Sherlock does take a few rounds to go through because if you're not fully paying attention, like if you're trying to half-ass watch it, it doesn't work.
That's the problem. Is I was playing Grand Theft Auto while I was trying to watch it.
You can't do that.
It doesn't work that way.
You have to, because the part that I love about Benedict Cumberbatch is the fact that he throws in these one-liners that they're burns, and if you don't catch them, they're utterly hilarious when you catch them, but if you don't catch them, then it kind of ruins the whole rest of the scene because you just aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're finally getting through it again.
I'm really excited. The way they have it set up is there's 3 episodes a season, but the episodes are an hour and a half each.
So it takes forever.
Yeah, it takes forever, but honestly, it's one of those things where, for example, watching like the 2-parters in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
They're like movies.
They are.
And that's how I kind of look at, Sherlock is. Each episode is an hour and a half movie.
But it's so detailed and intense. That's the part. Like Doctor Who, I can kind of half-ass be there, I get it. Sherlock, you have to be completely sober, standing on your head, paying attention. Like, you have to pay attention. Yeah. Otherwise, you won't get it.
And it's one of those things where, hats off to, Moffat.
Moffat's a sick little human being between this and Doctor Who, Moffat at this point owns my soul.
So, explain to me this. As far as Supernatural is concerned, he doesn't have a role in Supernatural. It's somebody else involved with Doctor Who.
No, he doesn't touch Supernatural, because if Moffat touched Supernatural, I probably would, at this point, just shoot myself, because that's just too much Moffat in my life. I figure, Steve Moffat owns my soul Sunday through Wednesday, and then Joss Whedon owns it Thursday through Saturday.
Joss Whedon is another producer on Doctor Who?
No, he does The Avengers and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all those kind of things.
I always see that
Buffy.
I always see that, that one thing on Tumblr is Super Who Locked.
Oh, Super Who Avenge Locked.
Yeah, it's like...
You are Supernatural, Doctor Who, Sherlock, Avengers. Did I get that all? Super Who Avenge Locked? Yeah.
Yeah, that's... I always saw that and I was like...
You gotta combine your terms to make you seem like more fandom stuff. Like, a lot of fandom stuff.
Exactly.
Because, in reality, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I'm dedicated to one fandom. You're not dedicated to one fandom. You just like a bunch of different fandoms. Let's be honest here. Yes, you do have one favorite. Supreme favorite.
Yeah, for me, it's for me, it's Star Wars. Star Wars is going to be about
It's what brought you in.
Who.
It's what brought you in.
Doctor Who and Star Wars are just the 2 things to me that are just my, favorite things in the world. But now I'm getting into, starting Supernatural. I'm getting into Sherlock, Broadchurch. I mean, Broadchurch is not so much of a nerdy show.
So it's BBC. What can you help? You can't help it.
It's BBC, and, that's basically kind of like how I... see myself as a fandom. It's, Doctor Who and Star Wars completely, are my life.
Yeah. So, my nerding out this week, I finally finished The Two Towers. It only took me an entire month to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only took me an entire month, but I'm on Catching Fire. Read Catching Fire a couple of times, but, since the movie's coming out next month, I have to kind of get myself back onto the wagon. I like rereading the books before the movie, because then...
taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Dude, that is the best video. If you have not checked out the video that I posted on Wednesday...
Yeah, it was Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday post. It's Orlando Bloom in this, video, and Peter Jackson basically found this YouTube video of... This is basically what I've been nerding out about all week, because I've been on a Lord of the Rings kick. But it's Orlando Bloom has been remixed in one of the Hobbit scenes where he says, they're taking the hobbits to Isengard. And he basically syncs the real live Orlando Bloom with the video, and it's the most freaking hilarious thing I've seen all week.
Yeah, and I really don't think they even like planned that, and that's
No,
how
it's
spot on
hilarious!
Orlando Bloom was. And if anybody didn't know my backstory, I'm actually in a folk metal band called Dawn of Isengard.
Yeah, which is hilarious. But that video is hilarious. So if you haven't seen that video, go for it. But those are what we've been nerding out about all week.
Well, the reason I bring Dawn of Isengard up is because they're taking the hobbits to Isengard is the start of one of our songs.
Yeah.
And it's called They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard, to Isengard, to Isengard.
I don't know which is more catchy, that or the fox.
Oh, no, please don't start singing that song. My kids sing those songs all day. It drives me nuts.
So this is the thing that's fun. I've been kind of nerding out on that, too, to go back to that, is, they're from, I believe they're
Swedish.
Sweden. And it took so long for it to get over to America.
It is such a ridiculous...
Now it's blown up, and apparently it's been out for a year.
So the boys wanted to hear the song, and I refused to download the song because I don't want it on my iPod. Because the last thing I want is to be driving around this song to come on. Because once you start singing it, it's stuck in your head for all day.
Yeah, my roommate was like, "Fuck, I can't get it stuck out of my head."
Yeah. So the kids wanted to see the video. Andy was off work, and he was with me with the kids, and so I'm starting to play the video on my phone, and Andy looks over at the phone and he goes like, well, thank God it has words so we could at least know what the hell's going on here, because the lyrics are so just weird that if you aren't paying attention to actually read it...
When he says quack, it's quack.
Yeah, like...
And fish go blub.
No.
It's the most annoying thing in the world.
Annoying song ever. It's horrible.
It's the new Numa Numa.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is the new Numa Numa.
Numa Numa.
Numa Numa. All right, everybody. Now we come to one of my favorite segments, but it's one of my favorites, but it's also hard because I'm tired of, I'm like so sick of spending money on nerdy stuff, but I can't help it. Here it is. Take my money.
Shut up and take my money.
So what do we got?
My Take My Money this week is the website I was talking about earlier with Halloween costumes, HeroUniverse.com. It's fabulous women's nerd attire and costume. It's created by Ashley Eckstein, and she's the voice of Ashoka in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And she basically created her own nerd clothing company. And basically she covers Sci-Fi Channel, Star Wars, Star Trek, Walking Dead, Doctor Who. But she carries all women's attire. She actually has some at Hot Topic and Spencer's and stuff like that. But it's pretty awesome. You definitely have to go check it out because she has some really creative, awesome stuff.
And we're going to see awesome photo shoot coming up because talking about the TARDIS dress.
Oh, yeah, I have my TARDIS dress. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm going to be the 11th Doctor, so we're going to do a cool...
That'd be perfect.
Cool photo shoot, which we'll probably see at some point in the next, couple of weeks.
Yeah, next couple of weeks for sure. What do you have for... What do you want, Tyler, to take your money this week?
Somebody already took my money.
What did they take your money for?
ThinkGeek.com took my money.
What did ThinkGeek do this time?
I bought a door decal of the TARDIS.
So now you have a TARDIS.
My door looks like the TARDIS. So what I'm trying to do, and this is going to get really nerdy and technical here, whenever I open my door, I want this to go out.
You want the TARDIS whoosh. How adorable.
Yeah, I figured, I was like, I come home late, and, my roommate's just sitting there, and all of a sudden he hears the TARDIS whoosh. Oh, Tyler's home.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
With my bow tie.
There you go.
And yeah, I got that. I got my bow tie, my fez, all
from
that.
ThinkGeek.
Shannon gave me a really good idea to go to H&M to look for the tweed jacket. So I'm going to be doing that.
Oh, yeah, you got to go just look for a tweed jacket. Now that it's fall, it'll be easier to find it.
Yeah, and either that or I might be able to find it at a thrift store because nobody really wants a tweed jacket.
Yeah, nobody wants tweed.
And I actually have a funny story to talk about the tweed jacket. So I was going through Tumblr, and I came across a story about apparently a Doctor Who fan got attacked at Walmart.
No way.
And basically, some girl actually saw that happen, and she was in the bookstore, and she saw him there. And he was in his bow tie, he was in his tweed jacket, and they kind of staring at each other, both thought each other were attractive, and she didn't really know what to say, but she responded, she basically told him, "Hello, sweetie."
Oh my God.
And he said, "Honey, I'm home."
Aww.
And he actually came over to her and offered to buy her the book she was reading.
Oh, how sweet.
And basically she goes, "Is that a pickup line?" She's like, well, yeah, we got all time and space. Where would you like to go?
How sweet.
And apparently, they are getting married.
How cute.
I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, it's a little off pace on what we're talking about, but I just remembered
Those
that.
are cool stories. I like cool stories like that, especially nerd romance. Nothing is better than nerd romance. It's just adorable.
I agree. It's just, when it comes to nerd love, I mean, that's why you and I are best friends.
That's why we do what we do.
Because we would love to see, something like that, happen to people. And, it's always kind of cool to share those stories that we find online.
Yep.
And hopefully I'm just my Rory. Maybe one
You
day
will
I'll find my Amy Pond.
You find your Amy Pond while I sit and wait.
Well, it did take him forever to come back, so.
Yeah.
Well, what do we got next?
You're going to talk about Dracula.
Okay,
Because this is your new obsession.
It's one of those things where it's coming at a perfect time. Like, the TV series that have been coming out lately, as far as October is concerned, they couldn't have picked a better time for these things to come out.
No, we've been having some really great TV. Like, I'm really impressed with the TV lately.
Yeah, and I think that with, Halloween coming up, all these kind of, sci-fi horror shows like Walking Dead, Supernatural, things like that, are all coming out. And I think that, those are some great shows to come out, to get us through till,
Till we get to Dead season again.
Yeah, exactly. So Dracula is premiering on October 25th on NBC. And it's produced by the same people who do Downton Abbey. And also, it's going to be shot in late 19th century London. And Dracula arrives posing as an American entrepreneur who wants to bring electricity to London. That is one of the most coolest, plot ideas that I've seen in a really long time. And he's also traveling to take revenge on those who cursed him with immortality centuries earlier. Until he gets infatuated with a woman who appears to be a reincarnation of his dead wife, which I think, if I read correctly, is very similar to a lot of the different Draculas.
Yeah.
But I don't know the name of the guy who's playing him.
It's Jonathan Ray Myers, I believe. I think that's who it is.
Oh, that's okay.
The guy from Tudors. Is that how you?
Tutors.
Yeah, you're right.
That's right. Okay, so he looks like a perfect Dracula.
He is a perfect Dracula. I've been watching the promos for the last few days, and as I keep watching it, I get more and more into it because it just makes. I think it's so cool, but I think it's going to be one of those new shows since we're going to be losing True Blood in a few months. I mean, I think it's another season, right? This season's last season.
I believe so.
But I think this one's going to be a good one.
And with these TV shows,
it's Friday night. It's a Friday night at 10, so it's going to be a DVR one.
With these TV shows that have been coming out lately, I had a pretty good idea that I actually wanted to bring it up on the podcast. Like, what I want to do is have you and I sit down and just have a camera sitting there watching our faces, watching some of these TV shows just to see these,
some of these are just, I've been so impressed with some of the TV this year. I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. has blown out my expectations for this season.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting a lot when that first got announced. I was like, oh, this is going to be not, it's going
to be a knockoff.
It's going to be a low rate, where they can't even use these licenses, stuff like that.
No, but it's been awesome.
When Agent Coulson got announced, that changed everything.
Yeah. No, that one's been really good. All the new, even the shows that have been on before and they're coming back, they've been amazing.
How I Met Your Mother is
getting good. Supernatural the other night. That's what we're gonna talk about next.
Yeah,
that's my next subject.
Let's just talk about it right now.
This, I have the worst, horrible. I have the patience of a 2-year-old. So if you didn't see Tyler's post about Tom Hiddleston and Cookie Monster yesterday, I really do.
It's so hard.
I even texted Tyler. The text that I sent Tyler that morning is up too because I have been waiting day in, day out for Supernatural to start again. And I woke up.
That's all I've been hearing for the last month and a half.
Exactly. I woke up Tuesday morning having a great day because I got an interview for a new job. Tyler got moved to a new store. Having a great day. I made myself some pie. And then I get halfway to work as I'm eating my sandwich and my crown falls out. Can't eat anything. Can't eat the pie. Day pretty much freaking ruined. But I did get to watch my Supernatural and it totally made me
feel. And then I got to hear about it because she's got to rant to somebody.
I got to rant to somebody, so Tyler got the end of it. But Season 9 is upon us. We are here. So let me break it down to you. Sam's critically injured in the hospital, basically dying at the beginning of the episode. that's basically how we figure out what's going on. Cass is completely missing. Dean ends up going to a chapel to pray to Cass, and Cass doesn't respond. So then he basically makes a plea to all the other angels that he needs to find Cass. So basically he's put a hitman out on Cass, basically, on his own, you know, with his own doing. So Cass finally gets a hold of Dean, and Dean, you know, he tells Dean he's fine and whatnot. Well, Dean acts like an overprotective mother and basically tells him to hightail it to the bunker and to wait for him there. And Cass basically says no, he's found this other fallen angel, Hale, who wants his vessel. So Cass basically crashes the car when...
Was that your Man Crush Monday, or who was
My
it?
Man Crush Monday was Misha Collins, because he's
Okay.
just an amazing human being to begin with. But Cass crashes Hale's car when he finds out that she's basically trying to take over his vessel. And then she threatens to basically have every angel after him. So he basically kills her. Because, you know, when you piss off Cass, you just end up dead. And Dean meets this new angel called Ezekiel. And basically Cass kind of approves of him and says he's a good soldier. And tells Dean that there isn't much time. Meanwhile, while all of this is happening, Sam is in his head because he's in a coma. He's in his head deciding if he wants to live or die with the help of his version of Dean and his version of Bobby. Dean's basically telling him he needs to stay alive, and Bobby's telling him, well, just die already. Just do it. Just end it. You've done so much. So, Sam finally meets up with Death, which is our first time we've seen Death in, like, a while. And he has his own theme song and slow motion. It's Death. Like, he's awesome. So Sam tries to make a deal with Death, saying that, you know, if I die and I let you collect my soul, I don't want to come back. Don't let anyone make deals with the devil for me. Nothing. Once I'm dead, I'm dead. So Dean, meanwhile, while he's trying to say this to Death, Dean comes back into his coma vision and says, look, I've got a plan. I can help you. What he doesn't know is that Dean has basically told Ezekiel, this angel, that he can take Sam as a vessel to heal heal Ezekiel and Sam at the same time, and Sam won't know that Ezekiel is in him as a vessel. Yeah, it's gotten super crazy, right?
All that in an hour?
All of this in an hour. I'm not even close to being done. So Sam basically says yes, but he doesn't realize that he has Ezekiel in him. But there's a few scenes where Jared Padalecki is playing Ezekiel, and it's completely different than Jared Padalecki playing Sam. So it's kind of fun to see him playing the same actor playing two different characters.
He's a good actor. I like him.
So basically this episode ends with Cass at the laundromat, which is one of the promos that they rolled at Comic-Con, and it got everyone in a tizzy because it's basically Cass coming in covered in blood to this laundromat. And he stands in front of the laundry or the washer, and he starts taking off all his clothes till he's literally standing in his boxers with all of his clothes inside the washer. And he goes to put his money inside the thing, but he looks up and he sees the vending machine and realizes for the first time in his life, because he's not an angel anymore, he has to eat food and drink water like normal people.
He's got to be human.
He's got to be human. So instead of washing his clothes, he buys food and water and ditches his trench coat and everything at the laundromat and puts on whole new clothes. So this is the first time we've seen Cass since season 4 in different clothes. So at the end of the episode, like in every premiere, someone finally Sam turns to Dean and says, well, we have work to do. And so that is the beginning of season 9 for Supernatural. And I am just dying to see next week's episode because we all know Crawley's still in the trunk. So how Crawley's going to play and whatnot is really going to be interesting.
We have work to do. That's again like ending.
Because
that's basically gearing it up.
But that's every premiere they do. They always say that line.
I'm very behind. I've only seen a few episodes of Supernatural, but she talks about it so much. I feel like I've known the story already.
It was my lifeline after I got out of the hospital for gallbladder surgery.
The problem is she made the poor mistake.
I was so stupid. I couldn't believe I couldn't do that.
She didn't turn off her Twitter feed.
I was so stupid. As I'm waiting for season 9, like I've already had a crappy day. Like this day cannot get any worse. My phone's going off and I assume it's like, work or my email or whatnot. And I finally open my phone and the first thing I see is the guy who plays Kevin Tran. He was live tweeting and it says, oh, so I guess Sam's an angel now. And I just look and I start crying because I'm like, I just ruined it.
She was so upset.
I lost it. So
her and I, we talk every day for the majority of the day just about this stuff and about how excited we are for certain things.
Yeah, for podcasts or whatnot.
And so
To ruin my show that I've been waiting a month and a half for, it just about ruined me. But thankfully,
damn you people on the East Coast.
Damn East Coast people. So now I've learned my lesson. I got to turn off my Twitter feed on the days that I don't want anything
I'm
spoiled.
gonna have to remind you now.
Yeah, thank you. So next, one of our favorite shows here at the Game of Nerd podcast, The Walking Dead is back. You know, this is one of my favorite shows only because it scares the living crap out of my boyfriend. Like, he does not do scary movies, and for scary movies, scary shows, he won't even watch American Horror Story, like, just, no. But this show,
I like that show.
he literally will sit, I will post a picture because it's just that good. He sits on his bed with both hands near his mouth like he's just like a 5-year-old child. Yes, I do. I have, it's actually on my phone.
We need to make a meme out of that or
But
something.
it's adorable because he gets so into this show, and I freaking love this show. It started out as my guilty pleasure, and then it's kind of become my entire family's guilty pleasure. We all like it in the house. But season 3 recap: Andrea is dead, which sucks because I think she was a really great character, and she was bit by a zombie when tied up by the governor and left to die. And she basically committed suicide with Rick's gun with Michonne next to her because she was about to turn into a zombie because she got bit just before she got released. And we don't know where the governor is. And basically, the Woodbury survivors are now at the jail with Rick and the gang. So my question is, why did he bring everybody back to the prison? Why not go back to Woodbury?
That's been a thing that's been talked about on the message boards a lot. Is like people just ranting about that. And
why would you go back to the jail cell when you know you have a perfectly good town?
It's gonna be explained. I have a very, very, very good feeling that that's gonna be explained why he would.
It has to be because I don't understand why you would go back to that when you know that half the jail isn't still safe, and to have all those memories and all that kind of BS. Why would you go back there?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, what it comes down to is I feel like the kid, the actor who plays was it Dale?
Yeah, or no, Daryl.
Daryl, he gets so much better after every single season, and
he's amazing.
He's so popular because
he's a badass
of Boondock Saints.
Yeah,
he's so popular because of that, and people love him.
He is. They have shirts that say "If Daryl dies, we riot."
Yeah.
Because he's not even a character in the comic books. He's not even it's a character they created for the TV show, and
which they could have picked a better guy.
Oh my god, he's amazing. So, the roundabouts for season 4, we've got lots of new characters and actors. They've broken up the 16 episodes into 2 parts. We'll have 8 episodes air in October and then 8 air in February.
I really like that they do that, and I'll tell you why, because when you compress all those into, one continuous season, it's really overwhelming, and the gap time between the episodes...
It becomes withdrawal season.
Exactly. So, like, when they cut it in half, they do that with Breaking Bad, too. And I'm really excited.
They do it with the Game of Thrones and all those kinds of shows, too.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to have Walking Dead back, because you know what that means. Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick!
Which means Nerdist should be back soon, too, on BBC. It's on BBC, isn't it?
BBC America.
Yeah. No, that's going to be awesome. We have a new showrunner for The Walking Dead, Scott Gimple. He's amazing. This is going to be his first season with The Walking Dead. He says that the time lapse between season 3 and this new season 4, is about 6 to 7 months. And he basically says that the jailhouse, their home, is in danger. And the first episode is called 30 Days Without Accident. So obviously something's going to happen because 30 Days Without Accident. You have to just accept that. So we know Herschel has a new leg with a boot and has created a garden for the jailhouse. And David Morrissey is set to reprise his role as the governor, and he basically is going to come back pissed and ready for vengeance.
He really is like the most hated character.
He is. I hated him. And the more Andrea was with him, the more angrier I got. Because it was just like, I hate him so much. And his whole little room with all the zombie heads on the wall, it was like a giant fish tank with heads.
It's like that part in Ace Ventura when he walks in with all the heads on the wall.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that is a lovely room of death.
Yeah, basically. So, they say that Rick is slacking on leadership duties this season. And instead of being the, full-on Rick that we've seen in the last few seasons, he's now pulling daddy duty because after Carl's killer behavior in season 3...
Carl's just losing it.
Carl's gonna lose it. So what's next for Carl? And how much really can a kid take in the zombie apocalypse world?
You know, I think we're gonna see a lot of growth from Carl this season.
I think so too.
I really think that Carl is gonna be. You know, Carl had his little like, oh, let's step off the edge, you know, and kind of just act
I
like
think Carl's gonna go either two ways. He's either gonna go off the deep end bad, or he's gonna whip around and be good. Maybe be the new leader. If Rick's not gonna be the leader, who's next in charge?
Say Daryl.
I would say Daryl too.
I say Daryl. I would say Daryl. You know, and I would love to see Carl step up. I mean, because you gotta think, you know, when this show first started, I mean, Carl was like this little kid.
Oh yeah,
and
he was always, "Where's Carl? Where's Carl? How can you not keep tabs on your kid?"
When it comes to, you know, Carl now, I mean, Carl's getting older and older and older, and he's seeing like, you know, he lost his mother.
Yeah,
you know,
he was there when he lost his mother.
Yeah, he lost his mother, and he, you know, is seeing, you know, what Rick's doing and how Rick's leading, and, you know, he had, you know, in the beginning seasons, you know, he had Shane to look at, and he saw like, you know, the friction between Shane and Rick, and, you know, he's got all of this, you know, to see, and I think that he's really going to come into his own in this season. That's my prediction.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's, like I said, it's either going to go one way or the other. He's either going to go off the deep end the wrong way or on the good end and become, you know, a very useful part of the crew. But, you know, he lost his mom, he's lost Shane, his dad's his only thing left, now he's got his sister, and they got a baby to take care of. How are you going to take care of a baby out in the middle of zombie apocalypse
And I remember
world?
that was a big deal, you know, on this last season. Like, they didn't want this baby to come into this world, you know, with all this going on, this apocalypse and this evil that's all around. You know, it's very psychological. I feel like with Walking Dead, it's not so much of an action and like horror. It's very psychological.
Yeah, it's a mental game because you're putting yourself into that situation. What would you do? We also know that Carol becomes, since we have a lot more kids now because we brought back all those Woodbury people with us, Carol's now becoming a teacher for the kids, including reading, writing, and zombie killing 101. So
I think that's cool.
I think Carol as that part is kind of cool because it kind of shows her side with Daryl, like, oh, I'm a badass too. So I'm kind of interested in that. Norman Reedus, who is the character of Daryl, states that they have found a way to make zombies scary again, and that this season, the new threat is Unreal. You know, there has been a lot of rumors of what this new threat is. The guy who plays Rick said it was evil hamster. Some people have said aliens. Some people say, I mean, there's a multitude of different things out there. So I'm very excited to see what this new threat is. They say this threat is going to just change everything about the whole season. And Gimple said at Comic-Con, it's going to get really insane very quick. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, you know, when it comes down to it, I mean, it's just going to get better and better and better.
There's no way you can anticipate the show.
AMC just, you know, they have these ways of just making these twists and things like that, you know, with, you know, Breaking Bad, you know, and there's a show that a singer from my band's been watching about the railroad called Hell on Wheels.
Yeah.
He says that's really good as well. And AMC's almost like, you know, the equivalent to BBC in America.
It's starting to get really, really good. Yeah. No, I'm very excited. Walking Dead is back on this Sunday on AMC. So make sure you watch it and then let us know what you think.
Yeah, please let us know what you think about it on our Tumblr and our Twitter. Our Twitter is TGON Podcast. Or you can send us a picture of your reaction to this, you know, season premiere at Tumblr at thegameofnerds.tumblr.com.
So that concludes most of our podcast for the Halloween edition.
And the next podcast,
Woohoo!
we got a big one for you.
Podcast is going to be great next one.
So we're going to have, talking about Thor, the new Thor movie that comes out next month. We're going to be talking about The Hunger Games Part 2, Catching Fire. And my personal favorite,
Ding ding!
we are going to be talking about the Xbox One versus the PS4. And my favorite guitar player in the world, Mr. Alvin Rideau, is a guitar player for my band, who works for Namco and Bandai, is going to be on our show. He will be our first guest
interview.
star.
Yeah, so it should be really interesting. So feel free to let us know on our Tumblr or our Twitter, like we said, if you have any information or you want to give us your opinion on Xbox, Hunger Game, or Thor, or anything on this podcast, you know you can always get us at Twitter at TGON Podcast, or at Tumblr at thegameofnerds.tumblr.com, and we will be working on our Facebook page to be up by the end of this month, hopefully. So, thanks for checking us out from everyone here at the Game of Nerds podcast. We hope you have a spooky Halloween. Make sure you check your candy, and most importantly, don't forget you're awesome, no matter what anyone says.
Have a good day, guys.
Later!